In this presentation, we'll see about instances and object diagram. Here we'll cover instances, modeling concrete instances, and object diagram. First, we'll see instances. An instance is a concrete manifestation of an abstraction to which a set of operations can be applied and which has a state that stores the effects of the operation. Instance and object are largely synonymous. Graphically, an instance is rendered by underlining its name. As shown in this figure, there are two instances. The first one is the instance having the name as keystrokes. Second is the instance that is an anonymous instance of the class frame. Instances don't stand alone. They are almost always tied to an abstraction. Instances and classes are also called as objects. You can have instances of other things such as components, nodes, use cases, and associations. An object is something that takes up space in the real or conceptual world, and you can do things to it. By definition, abstract class may not have any direct instances. However, you can model indirect instances of abstract classes in order to show the use of prototypical instance of that abstract class. Similarly, interfaces may not have any direct instances, but you can model prototypical instance of an interface. When modeling instances, it can placed in object diagrams to visualize their structural detail. Similarly, to visualize the participation of instances in dynamic situations, they can be placed in interaction and activity diagrams. If you don't know the object's associated abstraction, you must at least give it an explicit name called as orphan instance. Here, agent is the orphan instance. Multi-objects can be modeled representing a collection of anonymous objects. As shown in this figure, the instances of key code are the multi-object instances. State. An object has state which includes all the properties and value of each of these properties. A object's state is dynamic. It is possible to show the changing state of an object by showing it multiple times in the same interaction diagram, but with each occurrence representing a different state. When you operate on object, you typically change its state, and when you query an object, you don't change its state. The UML can be used to render the value of an object's attribute as shown in this figure. My customer is the object with two attributes, that is ID and active, having the values as shown in the figure. Similarly, C is the object and its status is waiting for answer. Now, modeling concrete instances. To model concrete instances, first step, identify those instances necessary and sufficient to visualize, specify, construct, or document the problem you are modeling. Second step, render these objects in the UML as instances. Where possible, give each object a name. If there is no meaningful name for the object, render it as an anonymous object. Next step, expose the stereotype, tagged value, and attributes with their values of each instance necessary and sufficient to model your problem. And the last step, render these instances and their relationships in an object diagram or other diagram appropriate to the kind of the instance. This figure shows an object diagram drawn from the execution of a credit card validation system. Figure shows one multi-object anonymous instances of the class transaction. There are two explicitly named objects, primary agent and current. The diagram also shows the current state of the primary agent object. Now, the object diagram. This diagram shows a set of objects and their relationships at a point in time. Graphically, an object diagram is a collection of vertices and arcs. Object diagram commonly contain objects and links. Object diagram may also contain packages, subsystems, and classes. An object diagram is an instance of the class diagram or the static part of an interaction diagram. An object diagram is used to model the static design view or static process view of a system from the perspective of real or prototypical instances. This view primarily supports the functional requirements of a system, that is, the services provided by the system to its end users. To model an object structure, first step, identify the mechanism you would like to model. A mechanism represents some function or behavior of the part of the system you are modeling that results from the interaction of a society of classes, interfaces, and other things. Second step, for each mechanism, identify the classes, interfaces, and other elements that participate in this collaboration and identify relationships among these things. Next, number 3, consider one scenario that walks through this mechanism. Freeze that scenario at a moment of time and render each object that participates in the mechanism. Number 4, expose the state and attribute values of each such object. And the last, number 5, expose the links among these objects representing instances and associations among them. Figure shows a set of objects drawn from the implementation of an autonomous robot. This figure focuses on some objects involved in the mechanism used by a robot to calculate a model of the world in which it moves. One object R of robot is currently in moving state. This object has a link to an instance of the world W. W represents an abstraction of the robot's world model. This object has a link to a multi-object that consists of instances of element. At this moment, W is linked to two instances of area, that is A1 and A2. A2 is shown with its own links to 3 walls and 1 door, which are marked with its current width. That's the end of this presentation. Thank you.